Member from Mushkegowuk, James Bay.
Thank you and good morning, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. On May 28, 2019, Fort Albany First Nation Council declared a state of emergency in relation to a widespread pandemic caused by drug and alcohol that gravely affecting the community. Lives have been lost, families are torn apart, and children and elders are left to their own because of this pandemic. Speaker, having visited the community a few weeks ago, Fort Albany Chief confirmed that after 9 months, the emergency is still ongoing. Speaker, why does this government refuse to listen to the people of Fort Albany and once and for all take action?
Minister of Indigenous Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, we continue to work closely with First Nations leadership regionally and at the community level to ensure that economic prosperity, their fair share of economic prosperity, Mr. Speaker, which will solve many of the problems in these communities, is on this government's agenda, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, the Associate Minister responsible for mental health and addictions, has done a great job of engaging with Indigenous communities, ensuring that they have a say in the design, Mr. Speaker, and the development of community-based support, Mr. Speaker. In fact, we've taken a whole-of-government approach. I've recently visited a couple of the isolated communities with the Minister of Child, Youth and Social Services, Mr. Speaker, and we saw great examples of how those communities are making fundamental changes, Mr. Speaker, and outcomes for young people. Mr. Speaker, we're interested in a future that for Indigenous people that offers an economic prosperity, Mr. Speaker, and we're focused on the kinds of policy options that will create just that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The supplementary question.
Speaker, to this day, Fort Albany has received absolutely no help to manage this addiction emergency. Chief and Council want to open a mental health and detox center to treat people near their loved ones and according to their traditions. My office has reached out to the Minister's office on multiple occasions to receive repeatedly the same answer. The federal government is leading the response to this emergency. Speaker, why did this government continue playing jurisdictional ping-pong instead of standing up for the people of Fort Albany, First Nations, in this ongoing and in doing what is right?
The Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addictions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for that very important question. Mr. Speaker, our government takes the development of a mental health strategy very seriously, and we have done many consultations with numerous Indigenous communities around the province. What we're trying to do and what we will do is establish a connected system that will look after access and providing services when and where they are needed in the local communities. So, Mr. Speaker, we will continue to work, and I would like to hear a little bit more from the member opposite with respect to Fort Albany. We have met yesterday, for instance, with many of the chiefs from Ontario and many of the support workers around Indigenous communities, and we heard overwhelmingly the problems that exist. Now, these problems weren't created a year ago. These problems have existed for a long time under previous governments. But rest assured, our government is doing everything it can and will do from the standpoint of all of us working together with the...
Thank you very much. Next question.